Hey, do you own a construction business or do you hire construction workers? Then, if so, I want to share with you my number one interview question. Several years ago, I ran a company of about 50 people and I hired a lot of people and I had to fire a lot of people. And if you've been at this for a while, you know that you don't necessarily just want to hire based on skills. You really want to hire based on personality and character, because no matter how good somebody is, if they're crazy or if they have a bad attitude, they're like a cancer. And you can't get rid of those people fast enough. In fact, several years ago, I hired a guy. I offered him a job, and then he was supposed to show up for work on a Monday. He didn't show up for work, and I called him and said, "Hey, man, what happened? I thought you were going to be there here at work today." And he pulled the lid off the bucket of crazy and started telling me about how he was going to call the local city council and file a complaint against us. Bottom line, this guy was crazy, and I barely missed it. Somehow, I missed it during the interview process. So my advice for you is you want to filter out the drama queens and the problem people and the bad attitudes and the people who have a cancerous personality. And I'm going to share with you my number one interview question. And if you ask this question, you just listen, you'll be amazed at what you hear. So here it is. Here is that number one interview question that you need to ask every person that you're thinking about hiring. Here it is. Tell me about a time somebody did you wrong. Tell me about a time somebody did you wrong. And then just sit back and listen. If they scratch their head or they have a faraway look on their face, and they think for a while and they can't come up with any answers, that's good. But if they take a deep breath and then launch into a tirade of this guy screwed me over and this guy messed me up and this guy didn't treat me right and this guy didn't appreciate me and this guy did me wrong, if they lay out a long history of people who have screwed them over, then I can assure you, if you hire them, you're going to be the next person in that long line. So if you want to filter out the drama queens and the cancerous attitudes, ask that question during the interview process. Tell me about a time somebody did you wrong. So I'm curious about what your favorite interview question is. If you could leave that in the comment. But before we're done here, I want to share with something as a bonus with you that you want to look at before you even ask that question, before you even post a job description. Because here's the thing. What if you could be just as productive and profitable without hiring another person, without having to onboard and train and go through that whole process? Let me give you 3 steps that you might consider going through before you even post that job description. Here we go. Number 1, eliminate. The great management guru Peter Drucker said, "There is nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all." So look at what your people are doing. Eliminate the unnecessary movement. You know, it's really dumb to recruit and hire and train and pay somebody to do something that doesn't need to be done at all. So I guess what I'm saying is, just because you've always done it doesn't mean you need to continue doing it. So before you hire, look at the task that you think you need to fill and ask, can we just eliminate all of this, or at least a part of it? Number 2 is to check your process and consider streamlining the process. Look, a lot of companies don't have a skilled labor shortage. What they have is a process deficiency. They have a productivity deficiency. So look at your process. How can we eliminate lost time through better scheduling, better planning, better material deliveries? Frankly, hiring people could be like treating symptoms, sort of like treating a heart attack with Tylenol and an ice pack. It's not going to solve your problem. So you may have a deeper issue that can be solved without hiring people, and really should be solved before you hire anybody else. And number 3 is what I call load shedding. This is what this looks like. You identify your key revenue producing personnel and you remove as many non-revenue producing activities from their plate as possible. A few examples would include administrative tasks, doing reporting, meetings, buying materials, going to the supply house, windshield time, and non-critical communication. What this looks like in reality is maybe you think you need to hire a foreman or hire a lead carpenter or an equipment operator. Look at what your skilled labor is doing, and then load shed. Find some of the non-critical activities that are below their pay grades, and then roll them up and hire a lower paid, easier to find person, maybe a laborer or a shop employee to handle those things. If you think you need to hire a project manager or a superintendent, look at what your current staff is doing and maybe load shed some of the activities from your current project managers, and then perhaps hire an assistant project manager, hire an admin person to handle those things. So that's what load shedding looks like. Speaking of skilled labor shortages, did you know that ours is not the only industry dealing with a skilled labor shortage? In fact, the healthcare industry is dealing with a much worse shortage than we are. In the United States, we are short approximately 100 to 120,000 physicians. And it takes a long time to create a neurosurgeon or a cardiovascular surgeon, right? 11 to 14 years. So if you think it's hard to build a trim carpenter, think about creating a physician. So they realized, yes, we need more people to get into the healthcare profession, but we have to change the process. We have to go through this load shedding exercise. So what the healthcare industry as a whole did was to revisit the process, and they took activities off the plates of physicians, and now they're allowing nurses and physicians' assistants and non-physicians to do those things. The work's still getting done, but it's being done by easier to create, lower paid, easier to train, quicker to train resources other than physicians. So there you go. There's my number one interview question. And then there are 3 steps I would recommend you take before you post that job description. And I want to hear from you. What is your number one interview question to ask during the process of hiring somebody? My name is Todd DeWalt from ConstructionLeadingEdge.com. Thanks for watching.